It's Thursday morning, and a lot of people have been getting in contact with me because they're a little unsure about whether they should be self-isolating or shielding and what it all means. So I thought I'd do a quick video to try and explain this. In essence, there are three things that we're asking people to do: social distancing, self-isolation, and shielding. Now, the first two are for healthy people, and it's all about trying to reduce the spread of the virus. We're trying to do that to protect the third set of people, the shielding people, because they're the most vulnerable. So how do we do that? Well, the first is social distancing. In English, this simply means trying to avoid big groups, unnecessary meetings, working from home if you can, cancelling all non-essential travel, only going out to the shops, and helping people who may need it. That's for fit, healthy people. If, however, you start to develop symptoms, as soon as you get a cough, hot and cold sweats, or start to feel unwell, you must self-isolate. The whole point of this is to reduce the risk of other people getting it. You've got to remember, 90% of people, this will simply be like flu and they'll bounce back. But for some, the vulnerable, they're the ones this can cause real problems for, and they're who we're trying to protect. So if you get symptoms, immediately you should return to your house and self-isolate for 7 days if you live on your own. If you live in a household though, i.e. with other people, friends, family, you need to self-isolate the entire house for 14 days. And that's because of the incubation period of the virus, so that everyone needs to lock down to stop the spread. Now, the final group are what we call shielding. And we're trying to protect them. They're the most vulnerable. They're people without the virus, but are most susceptible to it. And a lot of people are asking, well, how do I know if that's me? Well, as a simple rule of thumb, if you get the flu vaccine every year for your personal health conditions, i.e. you have asthma, you've had a heart attack, you've got diabetes, chances are you're in the vulnerable group. Plus, if you're 70 or over, you're in the vulnerable group. So what you should be doing is locking yourself away to protect yourself from coming into contact with people who may have had the virus. That does mean you can walk your dog, it does mean you can go out and exercise, but not in groups, and trying to reduce that as much as possible. The whole idea of this strategy is to protect the most vulnerable by using the stages to reduce the amount the virus can be passed on. I hope that clears all things up. The NHS will be contacting the most vulnerable people in the next week to let them know that. If you have any further questions, you can always call 111, or better still, look on the gov.uk website.